All right, good morning, everybody. Let's kick it off. It's 9:05. It's time. All right. Pretty girl. Pretty girl. Tell me something good.
I have 2 listings coming live today.
Yay! How did you get those?
Ask clients and Google Leads.
That's clients and Google Leads.
Yeah.
I love that Google.
And when he gets to this, I don't know if he's here virtually or not, but he's closing the deal today that double ending.
Yeah, congratulations on the leads. And that was from how did you get that lead though?
A Google Lead.
A Google lead? Okay, there you go. All right, Google's winning the day this week. Who else has something good? Barry, you got anything you want to share?
Yeah, I picked up an investment property, that's gonna be a triple, so it'll be double in, and then I'll get the sell afterwards, so.
All right, so drinks on Barry later this month. Yeah. Congratulations to Barry. Barry, how'd you get that client?
Actually, I would have to say it was, the social media stuff that I've been doing, because from 10 years ago, this client called me out of the blue. I actually DM'd me on Facebook. And if I didn't have my virtual assistants kind of looking at the Facebook thing, I never would have seen it. I'd never go on Facebook. And so one of my virtual assistants says, "Hey, this guy says he's got a house for sale. Do you want to talk to him?" I'm like, "Yes."
Wow.
So yeah, from 10 years ago, I sold him the house 10 years ago.
Awesome.
That's
That's incredible.
One time in the last 10 years.
Well, we can focus on that. But hey, whatever you want. Don, what do you got?
So I got named in a divorce judgment as the realtor.
That's all.
Okay.
And so it wasn't an easy one, but we got it, and I got 3.5% on the list side,
Oh.
and we just closed that.
Congratulations. How did you pull that off? How did you get named?
So that is all through phone calls, postcards, and just maintaining the relationship post sale from when I sold them the house.
Okay.
So stayed in with them the whole time. And then I went through boot camp with Coach Randy Bird and
Mhm.
team. And they just forced us to do stuff that we know to do, that we didn't want to do, but we did it anyway.
Mhm.
And that just created a bunch of pipeline that is still producing and active. I've got a couple in escrow from that already. And
Wow.
going on a pre-listing walkthrough later on today. And we've already talked numbers. I just have to go take my AVID and then get the listing, or get the listings on.
Fantastic. Yeah, right. All right. Is there anybody on chat that wants to chime in? There's no. I just want to make sure you have a chance. Go ahead, Tracy. Oh, yeah, Tracy, you have something to share.
Yeah, so one of my listings went into contract last night.
Yay! How long was it on the market, Tracy?
It was on the market 4 days.
Boom. See, things are flying. So if it's priced right, if it's a good property, man, it'll move.
Hey, Tracy,
Yes, Barry.
are you an independent contractor?
Yes, Barry.
Yeah, she is. This is her first deal after she's graduated from the team.
Wow. Congratulations, Tracy. All right. Well, let's move on. Do we have a lender in the room?
They ran away.
All right, rates are up. Newsflash, rates are up. But there is that 20% program that's getting rolled out. Oh, we'll flip it around so you can see who's talking. So we have the 20% program getting rolled out. What is it, March 27th, I believe?
27, that's a great program.
March 27th. So up to 20% down, conforming loan limits, household income. So like I believe Placer, Sac, El Dorado County, that's $202,000 in a household income. That's the limit. So it's not like it's $70,000 hard for people to qualify. And that kicks off 27th. And I'm hearing talks between 3,000 to 5,000 loans are all that's going to be done with California. And when you consider there's 40 million people here, that's not a lot of loans with this program. So you want to get your clients pre-approved. You want to start that process sooner rather than later. Any questions for somebody that is not a licensed loan officer? All right, good. We'll move on. So let's turn this around and share the screen real quick. We got some events coming up. We got the Make More Mixer happening next Thursday at Crawdads. It's gonna be a fantastic, fun time. We have about 200 people registered, so make sure you don't miss that. That's from 5 to 8 at Crawdads. And then, of course, next week, we also have the top producer panel happening at PCAR. This is one you do not want to miss. If you're gonna attend an event in the month of March, make sure you attend this one. It's free. It's at PCAR. We will not be doing our team meeting here next Thursday. It'll be held at PCAR, and this is from 10 to noon. You can register on Eventbrite. And then if you want a little extra pick me up and you want to start collaborating with local agents, you can do AHA Club. It's run by Chris Okamura. It's called that because agents helping agents. So you don't have to be with EXP. You don't have to be licensed. But if you're looking to get in the industry, if you are in the industry and you're wanting to learn more about how you can generate leads, how you can negotiate with clients on contracts, things like that, you want to be attending this. It's every Friday, 11 to 12. And that's all I have in terms of updates. I see the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Brent Gove is on. Brent, do you have anything you want to share? Go ahead and unmute.
Unmute myself there, finding my little hand thing. Hey, great to see you guys. So man, congratulations on all the listings, all the sales. I'm feeling it all over. It's just kind of spring is sprung, although it's March, we're not quite there yet. The good news is we're feeling the bump. We're feeling the strength of the market. So it's exciting. I have decided to do something new that I'm doing, and I wanted to announce it today. I haven't really gone public with it yet, but every Tuesday at 1:30 to 2, I do an agent attraction call. So if you want to actually build a sales organization that'll pay you while you're on vacation, I do that from 1:30 to 2. And I've done that for a year and people love it. It's great, but I'm doing something different at 2:10 p.m. every Tuesday for 15 to 20 minutes. I'm going to give you the best, high-end sales mastery tips I can give you. Sold over 5,000 homes in the last 27 years. So we're going to teach you how to get buyers off the fence. We're going to teach you how to get sellers to sign listing agreements. We're going to teach you how not to get sued. We're going to teach you how you follow up with a buyer and actually get them off the fence and how to write winning offers. We're going to teach you how do you follow up with sellers? How do you get a seller off the fence? What are different lead generation techniques you could do to get leads? Because really, for everybody in the room, your issue is not interest rates. Your issue is not anything other than you probably have not mastered lead generation. And when you master lead generation, whether it's for sale by owners, expireds, open houses, Google, I heard Google there, whatever it is, when you master that, money, you can literally create money. But until you master lead generation, you can learn the contract backwards and forwards. You can come to my how not to get sued class I'm going to do. And that's important. You can do all that stuff. But if you really, truly haven't mastered lead generation, where you can just crank it from low, medium to high, like, man, I need to sell some homes. You just crank that thing up. Boom, here come the leads. And all of a sudden you have motivated buyers. You have motivated sellers. Who loves working with buyers who just totally are kicking tires and aren't motivated? Who loves sellers like, look, if we don't sell it in the next 3 or 4 or 5 months, you go ahead and spend money marketing it, get the photography in here, order the sign up, do all this stuff for me. But if it doesn't sell, if I don't get my unrealistic $900,000 price tag, I'll just turn it into a rental. That's called an unmotivated seller. But if you get motivated sellers with listings that are priced right, motivated buyers who are reasonable about the market, you're going to kill it. But when you have 2 or 3 buyers and no listings, you're in for a bag full of pain. But when you start to get 30, 40, 50 buyers, and then the cream rises to the top, you get buyers who like, I'm so sorry, we have to buy a house this weekend. I've heard those words many times. Sellers, I'm so sorry, we have to list the home today. We fly out tomorrow. We need to get our home on the market now. We need to sell it immediately. We have our dream home in Nashville, in Phoenix, in Austin, in Florida, and we need our home sold yesterday. You hear those words when you have enough buyer and seller leads. So we're going to be talking about this, and it's going to be very short. It's going to be on Zoom, Zoom with Brent.live every Tuesday from 2:10 p.m. exactly. We're going to end the agent attraction at noon. But the cool thing is this is something you can have your friends jump on from other independent brokerages, Century 21, Keller Williams, Remax, Sotheby's, not talking about EXP. We're going to give you high level sales mastery techniques to succeed and win big for your family. And they're going to be short. It's not an hour. It's 15 to 20 minutes. So there's my little commercial. So that is every Tuesday, 2:10, Zoom with Brent.live. Thanks, Johnny.
Dude, that's valuable. That is exactly what people are wanting right now. So thank you for offering that. Well, we have our next speaker, the keynote for today, if you will, Miss Jen Finley with North American Home Services, soon to be Good Life, right? Are you guys changing the name? Yeah.
It's good life.
All right. Oh, by the way, they brought crumble cookies. So if you aren't here in person, you're missing out because there are a ton, like there's crumble cookies for everybody.
We'll send some.
Yeah, we'll send some.
Right. Do you have the?
I do. I'm just trying to make sure
Yeah. And do you have
the clicker's dead.
Okay.
I am your clicker.
Okay.
Perfect.
Right.
And I'm Justin with North American. I manage the termite department over here.
Okay.
Yeah, let's pull it out. So then. All right. So let me share the screen.
There we go.
Ricardo's my go-to. I know, Ricky. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Yeah.
All right.
All right, we're gonna talk about, I have to get creative. So I've got credits. Now, what do they do? We're gonna work you through how your clients can get more bang for their buck, maybe after the fact, the deal's closed. We're also gonna talk about some things to make sure that the cautious things to watch out for before the deal closes. And now this is their house, and there might be some additional things that they didn't look at, so.
Great point. So you guys all going for credits, or you all you teach us about credits a lot of times, and we're there as a tool, right? To kind of go through, do a very thorough inspection and give you the best knowledge and information about that home upfront, right? And this gives you the tools to make the decision on how to do credits, how to ask for them, how to go about that, right?
Yeah.
But we're just using that. We want to be very thorough and honest about our inspections, and very accurate just as well too. So you have a good, expectation of what's going on at that property. So, Jen, what do we got here?
Get creative. So now the deal's crossed the line, right? So we're hoping that when you're doing your inspections, you're doing the walkthrough with your inspector to go over all the items that are being called out on the house and kind of what's going on. And our inspectors are very good at pointing out what's first, health and safety. That's super, super important. So now it's after the fact. Now they look at the report and they're like, oh, we really should have done this item or this item or that. So that's number one, health and safety items first.
So would this be after they got the credits on the home?
This is after.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're
So
closed on the home.
Close in the home.
you close, you've got your buyers got credit, or you had to sell it, right? And they gave credits up to negotiate on the home or the home price. So this is after the buyer. So this is kind of the buyer side.
Right.
And we kind of have tips, really anything health and safety should be done first, right? We can all agree on that.
Yeah.
After that, then you're gonna go to everyday items that affect your life, right? The AC unit, if you didn't get it fixed prior to that, ranges, just items that you use every day. The water heater's a big one. Everybody likes to take a nice warm hot shower.
Yes.
And we're just, just kind of thinking through it. Things that are first are health and safety. Things after that are things that affect your life on a daily basis. And then after that, number 3 would be the repair items that aren't necessarily health and safety. It's maintenance items, right? There's dry rot. You necessarily you don't want to leave termites or dry rot, but if the deck is falling down, that's probably health and safety.
Yeah.
But if it can be rebraced and reused, then of course that kind of falls in the third category, right? You want to get these first ones taken care of.
Right. And also they might have looked at that deck during the inspection and there was a lot of dry rot called out. But then after the fact, they're like, you know what? We don't even want this deck. So let's just tear it down. We're going to build something else. It might be less expensive than what the report initially called out as the damage to be.
Great point. Yeah, to try to make different decisions now that the buyer owns a home.
Right.
They're the decision maker, right, about how these repairs or these maintenance items go.
Next slide.
Yep.
Okay, pros. This is the pros. You can help me out as well. So buyers had receiving credits. It leaves them in the driver's seat when making the repairs. Now it's done. They can do whatever they want. This is their home, right? No time constraints. You're not in that contingency period where like the repairs have to be done by the time it closes, to bill it through escrow. And it also gives them opportunity, like I said, to customize, change, or modify the repairs as they want to, what they see. That's their dream house now. They can do what they want.
That's a great way to go about it,
Yeah.
just as well. And then, of course, that's for the buyers, and then the price for the seller, right? They give the credits up and they're done. They don't have to write basically a blank check for repairs necessarily, or these items that may come up.
And there's, right, little liability, deals closed, they're letting her out, yeah.
So that's a great way to put it. What other things are you seeing out there? I mean, we're kind of putting this together for you all, but what's pros that you see out there with giving credits or accepting credits?
I mean, for buyers, I.
Speak up, George, so we can hear you.
So the being in the driver's seat thing, that's how I usually tell them, like, you don't know who the seller's gonna hire to do the work. They could go do it themselves and then it's fixed, but did they really do that great of a job?
Mhm.
So that's how I always tell buyers, like, that way you can hire somebody you trust to make sure they do the job right after closing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Being in the driver's seat for it, absolutely.
I have a question, comment, and I'm not sure what I would call it, but what if my sellers hired your company and recommend them to you? And then the whole report is done by your company, then the seller has a home inspection of pest and termite through you, and then when the buyer looks at everything and looks at the home report given by our company, will the buyer still have the advantage?
I mean, yeah, every time. I mean, partnering with somebody, at the end of the day, we're doing the inspection the same way, if it's for the buyer or the seller. So being honest and accurate about the inspection should put your best foot forward, right? You want to partner with somebody who's going to stand behind the report and the repairs. So, I mean, we've got one of the best industry standard warranties out there to kind of stand behind our reports. Everybody's human and necessarily, but once we get down to the brass tacks of it and the new owner owns the home, we can modify or adjust those repairs to their need. Again, being in the driver's seat for it, right?
Are you
If you're talking about before the fact, yeah.
Yeah, the listings.
Pre-listing inspection?
Like pre-listing inspection, just do a thorough home inspection, so.
And this is what you got, kind of present that to the folks,
Yeah.
your potential buyers. A lot of times we deal with both sides, actually. So we do a pre-list inspection and then the agent that is brings the buyer to the home, the purchasing agent, they use this just as well. So sometimes it just makes it go that much smoother. Other times we get called back out to do another inspection with them. At the end of the day, we stand behind it. So there's no difference, you know what I mean, if we're doing it for the seller or the buyer necessarily.
And we're there to offer you solutions to what's going on to the home. So it's like expectations, communication, and then we come in with a solution.
Good question.
I think
Observation.
to answer your question, Hermes, I think it's good to do a pre-listing inspection, because then the seller knows what to expect and there's no surprises. Because sometimes they've negotiated a purchase price, then they do the inspections, and then there's additional repairs that need to be made, and that's just not the best experience for your seller.
And that's like, if there's an inspection and something just is discovered that's a serious flaw, that could basically the buyer could back out of the deal and escrow would close, he would lose the EMD, the seller would lose, could keep the EMD.
Potentially, but more importantly, it's almost a kiss of death, right? When you list a property, right? And then it goes in contract, and they back out because of something that was on the home inspection report. Now they have to go back on the market. Everyone wants to know why it didn't sell the first time. And if you do a pre-listing inspection with North American, you can avoid that potentially.
Okay.
So basically get in front of it. And again, that puts you, in the driver's seat, you get to choose who's coming out to do the inspection necessarily for you. It doesn't change how the inspection goes, but at least you have that information up front and then you can kind of proceed, after.
Back to this though, what I think is a good throw is it kind of speaks to what you were talking about, Don, and what you were talking about, Barry, in terms of following up with your clients. Because if you've sold them this home and then they purchased the home and now they're going to sell it in 5 to 7 years, maybe 10 years, and these repairs haven't been made, and then that could be that the problems have only magnified over time. So that's one thing that is a benefit to doing these close. The other thing is it gives you something to follow up with the clients on. Like, hey, how are things going with the deck? How are things going with the water heater? Do you need any vendor recommendations? Oh yeah, what was the name of that company that came out? North American, and you can send them to the people that actually inspected the property in the first place.
And that's a good touch on your part to stay in contact with them.
Yeah.
See how their lives are going.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Next.
What else we got?
Because we want you to be cautious as well, because I understand the escrow period is also your negotiation period. You're submitting the R4R. And maybe on the termite report, everyone skips to the back and sees section 1, section 2 and goes, okay, I want a credit for this. But there's the section 3, there's that further inspection that I think we've reiterate, like are super, super important. And that $500 to maybe open up that wall that has a stain on it that we can't see. They're unforeseen conditions. So spend at least the $500 just to open it up and see what's going on. So that way, if you don't, the deal closes. Now the buyers are in there, and they see this stain, they go to open up the wall to do whatever is needed, and now there's $80,000 worth of work needed. It can happen, like it could be a
Yes.
stain or a crack.
So this is a fine razor's edge, right? So it's not our job to scare a client into doing one way or the other. Purchasing home, selling a home, buying a home,
Which
right?
you guys do very well, maintaining that fund.
We're trying to maintain it, and we're, as an inspector myself, we try to conversate with the realtor on site and say, hey, these are concerns in this area, and it's not to, it's to prep you to talk to your client, right?
Right.
If it's a seller or a buyer, at the end of the day, we want to be able to protect whoever's purchasing this home or selling it to make sure everybody knows what could be a potential area. And on those further inspections, yes, it may not be a big dollar amount, but it may hide, or there may be something observed after it's opened, right? So when you're doing credits or something, it wouldn't hurt to look at those further inspection items and be part of the request for repairs,
Right.
just the further investigation,
Correct.
and then you can adjust on a dollar amount. Sometimes we try to give you a cost where if there's nothing wrong, it's this much money, or it could be up to this much money, right? Say there's a shower leaking, but you can't tell if the shower's leaking or if it's a valve, right? So it could be a plumbing repair, or it could be a full shower replacement. So these are items that could be necessarily a blank check after the fact, and it's hard to determine what dollar amount it's gonna be with it, so you want to negotiate on the proper dollar.
Looks like there's a story. What happened in this situation?
Oh, geez.
So it started with the crack, right, and the rust stain. So this is what the inspector found and called a further inspection. This is just.
You did
Okay.
this, Justin? This was your inspection?
Two of us were out there.
Okay.
So on brick, this is a very custom home. We've got like a slate rock on the front of the home tying into brick and stucco. On the big openings where the windows are at, there's a big metal piece that pulls up the brick. It's called the lintel. And they anchored it in with big, like wrought iron anchor bolts. And what happened is the weight of it had pulled it away from the home for many years and allowed water to come in. This is a 6-inch wall, so it's a pretty thick wall. It's a 2-story home. And on the inside of the home, all we had was some minor staining and swelling at a window. And we said, hey, we want to open up this area and this area, right? And of course, everybody's like, no, why would we ever open anything up? Who's going to put this back together, right?
Next day.
So yes, so but this was the buyer was going to back out, they didn't know. So we opened it up, and unfortunately we found quite a bit of damage. So basically it's probably been leaking for the majority of its life since it was constructed. The weight of the brick and the way the windows were installed, water had been draining in there, but because of the wall, the thickness of the wall, it didn't really, the seller didn't know. It wasn't like they were hiding it. They just didn't know. They just had some staining and some peeling paint or swelling at a window stool, and it actually turned into the whole face of this house had to be basically opened up because where the dry rot and the fungus damage had went to. So we were able to keep the deal together. This was a Friday night, probably 8, 9 o'clock at night, having conversations with a very high-end agent in the Granite Bay area. And that was the selling agent and the buyer's agent. Buyer was going to back out. The seller was going to fix it one way or the other. And at this time it was 2021.
Yeah.
In his mind, he was just going to put it back on the market and put more money on the listing price of the home and probably get it, right? He was happy. He's like, hey, you want to back out? I'll just put it back on and get more money for this home. We were able to actually talk with the buyer. He had already had his kid listed up for school. He was part of the all kinds of stuff. And they're like, well, I'll just buy the house down the street. And they're like, well, don't you think that house could have the potential same stuff, right? You know about this. It's going to be fixed correctly with permits and waterproof.
Yeah.
Basically going to be better, but look the same. Why wouldn't you stay with this home? And he basically made us, hold us to that. And we did it. We had it permitted. We went back with the same material, but just engineered it in a different way so it didn't leak, had the proper flashing on there. And we actually have a finished picture of it, and you'd have to look at it very hard to see the difference in color of the actual mortar. So all the breaking, the stone and everything, it actually got redone, and this was done in-house by North American. And that's really the special part of what we can do, not just the good inspection, but getting it across the finish line all the way. There's a termite company that could put all that together.
Forgive me, Justin, that one on the right, before and after, that's the after on the.
This is the after, correct. Yeah, so I mean, and you'd have to really look at it to see the photos of the difference in color and mortar and stuff, because one's newer, one's got a little bit more fading to it. So we were able to do this in-house. This is, kind of beat our chest about it. This was crazy.
I mean,
To keep this together. Yeah, this is a lot of shopping off, but this only happens in like 1 in 20, right? It's not that often, but we always try to stress that, hey, this could grow in this area. But we try to talk to the agent on site, and we're not trying to, we're gonna let you just, explain that to your customer, and of course, then you can lay back on us about what our thoughts are. Our findings are.
So to recap, a little bit of like potential water damage and rust turned into, how much was the repair?
80,000.
80 grand.
Yes,
Yeah.
And the seller paid for that, obviously.
yeah.
And when you say in-house, meaning you guys did repairs?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow,
In-house,
I didn't know you guys did repair.
we do.
Yeah.
And they bring crumble cookies.
So yeah, we've got crew in-house. We actually have stonemasons. We've got a lot of Ukrainians. And their background is stonemasonry and stuff like that, but also framing. There's a lot that goes into this. So not just the typical dry rot siding repair, trim, roof sheeting and stuff. We get into bigger projects. It's not always the funnest because
Yeah.
there's a lot of moving parts to that, but we try to, at the end of the day, we're trying to service you as our clients.
Right.
Mhm.
And this could be built through escrow, just so you know, too, so many.
So it came out freshly they said, yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's what this one did.
At that point.
there you go. We're
What
gonna-
else we got?
All right, so tips. So partner with an inspection company that you can trust.
American.
Always be there for the walkthrough. That's super important too. So that way our inspectors are great at pointing out, those health and safety items, the big items that we are aware of it. And then, yeah, escrow period is the only time to negotiate, as you know, so keep that in mind.
Good point.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, partner with somebody you can trust, you know what I mean, that's gonna answer it. Having you there with your clients during the walkthrough after the inspection is always a very awesome thing. And then, of course, yes, the escrow period, that's your only time. You can't go back and ask for more money after you bought the house, right?
And I think it's important to emphasize too, that you do the repairs, that there, and the scope of repairs that you do is huge, because it's not like you inspect the property and then we have to get somebody else to get us a bid on some of the work.
Right,
And then somebody else might do the work,
right.
right? It's
Yeah,
all,
we do it all in-house, and
Yeah.
that really gives us a leading edge on a lot of things. Timing and cost, right? So if we can do it in-house, it means we don't have to worry and wait on subcontractors to get out there to do things. We actually got a building department, where we're doing
Yeah.
plans and engineer plans and stuff in-house too. But that's because different laws and regulations that are gonna come more in effect this coming year, so we're kind of getting prepped for it.
wonderful. And then Jen, if they want to reach out to you, what's the best way?
I have one more slide that you can,
Oh,
all of our, all.
all right.
What do you got?
All the stuff. America.
Do it all.
Discounts, veterans discounts, all the time, and then just reach out to me for any inspections that you need.
Good stuff. Oh, you do pool too.
Yeah, full
Hey,
inspections.
John. Do you mind if I say something?
Please.
I met with Jenny's owner, the owner of all three of your companies that combined together. And this guy has a real love for making it done, getting it done and getting it done right. His crew is amazing and they really can go from the smallest piece of work all the way up to rebuilding a dang house, which is very hard to find in one. They're not all the same company, but they're all within the same family of companies and they all interact with each other really well. So really kudos to all of them for what he built. I mean, he built an amazing organization and these guys know it from the ground up. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you.
They're a lot bigger than what they just did.
Yeah.
We have a Good Life, so Good Life Construction, they're ones to go to if you need like a remodel in your home, they're really, really good at that. Good Life Pest Solutions, which is our pest control company, so your bi-monthly spraying of your home, we have that company, and then Good Life Fire Restoration is our latest and greatest.
Yep.
So restoration for anyone who just has fire, which is horrible, but we have that company. So,
And it helps them out, gets them through the insurance process.
Yeah.
Try to get them, what they need to get done.
What?
833.
833-353, and you can grab my card.
Yeah, for those of you who are here, there's cards on the table. For those of you online, it's in the chat box. What questions do you have for Jen? Now is the time if you have any questions for Jen and Justin.
Yeah, any questions?
How long does it typically take for you to get out to inspect the property? What's a
Um,
good amount of time?
Right now, we're at a 3 to 5 day window.
So
right now,
about a
But
week, just about. I mean, we're starting to get busy, which is a great thing.
busier, yeah,
But yeah, about 3 to 5 days.
average, but definitely reach out to me if you need something like really, really quick, because I get on there about getting it.
Somehow you have an extra inspection at the end of the day.
There's right now, so you can go later.
There we go.
Yeah, no, Jen saved our bacon more than once where we've had to get a same, like, I think even the same day.
We have Saturday inspections also, so I know if you have clients in the Bay Area that
Yeah.
are coming in. We have our Saturday inspectors, and then also we're open, our office is open on Saturdays too. So Saturdays 8 to noon. If you're getting in contract Friday night, call them first thing Saturday morning, get the inspections booked. Yeah.
All right.
Second opinions too, right? Like, if there's a pest report done by the seller and your client wants to get like another opinion on it, you know, they'll come out and do that for you guys.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, so like a competitive bid or where we go out and assess the property. And a lot of times we can save money because we have crews in-house, but also times we can talk about, the findings are the same, but we can change or modify the recommendation to still satisfy if you're looking for a section 1 clearance on a home. Or, and just kind of come to terms with it. So a lot of times that's great. So the great, great thing that we offer just as well. There's no charge typically for that, for us to come out and give it a second opinion. So we appreciate those.
Awesome.
Question,
Yeah,
are
absolutely.
you able to give estimates off of the general home inspection or just the pest? inspection?
Just the pest on
I
that.
did that here, like that.
So that's a great question. The pest control, so WDO or wood destroying organism, so the termite license I have is held with the state of California. All right, yes. The only other states that mandate that is Florida and Texas. All right, everywhere else, a home inspector is licensed by the state that they reside in. And they're actually able to call those things out. And for termites in those other states, it just go to a general pest control company. Okay, so the difference is here, the home inspector is not licensed by the state of California, which they would want to be. So they hold their license with different organizations, NACHI. I'm trying to think of a couple of the other ones. And they require that you don't bid on a home for about a year, I think, or something like that.
If you have,
Yeah, NACHI agreed.
you have a GC license, right?
NACHI agreed, yeah.
So can the GC part of your licensing give a quote on the repair?
No, it's really good because we argue about this all the time in-house, but because we're in-house and that general contractor's license in-house, we don't want to step over the line with where we hold our license at with the home inspection side. So that could be frowned upon, even if it is a sister company. That's why we don't do it. But we try to give you referrals to people that can help you out in that sense. But that's the answer of why we don't give bids on the home inspection.
So we need to find a brother company and not.
The second cousin removed company, yeah.
The first part of the explanation was extremely confusing. What I heard was that you can give comparative estimates or just estimates on termite, the pest piece.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if I need construction or repairs on my home, that you can't do.
No. 'cause we make
No, we
all
can give
the-
construction
Yeah,
stuff on that, just not on the home inspection. There was a question about
Oh,
home
okay,
inspection.
so on the home inspection report, if my buyer needs a list of items to ask for credit, you can't do that.
We can't give a bid on that. It's a year, it's whatever contract we have.
A year.
We have to wait a year out to do that. What we try to do is give you referrals for anybody on those items. So a lot of times if it's HVAC, pool or anything like that, we're gonna refer you to that. All right, so in a home inspection report, we're giving you an assessment of the home at the time of and saying, hey, this needs to be inspected, further evaluated by a licensed person in that field.
Right, no, I got it. It's just, I always get credits. I never have the seller do repairs, so, but you have to have an itemized number in order to ask for
A
credit.
dollar
So
amount, yeah.
You've always got to have, someone that can give a legitimate dollar amount of how much it's gonna cost. You guys can't do that, so. It seems.
No, and then we've got other companies we've went that are for other companies that as we'll say, that will give an itemized estimate within X amount of percentage of the dollar for repairs, but that's like a third party type situation.
So would the workaround to this be, if I know that there's gonna be some issues on a listing and we're gonna do a pre-listing inspection,
Mhm.
to go to the Jimmy Joe Bob's home inspection service, get that, and then have you guys come out and quote it?
If you wanted to do that route,
Would be the
Jimmy,
easier
go
one.
on, that's a-
yeah,
I like that.
it's tough because then you're going off of somebody else's home inspection report and you're trying to assess it, right? And at the end of the day, we're probably gonna have to bring in, we don't have HVAC people in house. We've got roofers in house, we've got framers, brick masons, tile guys. But if it's an HVAC system, appliances for another one, you're gonna go to an appliance place. So a lot of times we're gonna be able to estimate the items that fall underneath plumbing or construction repairs. But if you're getting into the specialty items, then of course you're gonna wanna go to a specialty person.
Yeah.
Right, if that makes sense, like an appliance person, a pool repair guy, HVC technician, electrician. So I understand, you know what I mean? It's kind of, it sucks that we can't put an estimate on there, but it's just stuff that we hold ourselves accountable for, because where we hold our license as a home inspector, we couldn't lose it necessarily in that. At the end of the day, we don't want that. We're gonna fix that.
We want you to.
Please, please.
Mariah, did you have a question?
No, I was confused because I thought I got a home quote from you guys and it was pest
Okay.
instead.
Yeah.
Because I was like, wait, I've gotten quotes from you guys. Yeah. I've
That's a
gotten
good point.
quotes-
So touch
No,
on-
no, I just.
Well, we've got another home inspector in the room. Do you guys give quotes?
No, we're just home inspection.
Just home inspection? And then do you give referrals for anybody to do those repairs to them, or do you tell them to kind of? So you have a book of referrals? Same here.
Wow. It's almost like.
Oh, it changes.
That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That way.
You've got to be able to trust your referrals in that sense. So they've got to be able to, if you're offering them up, you've got to be able to trust that they're gonna contact the person. And go through it thoroughly just as well. So we've got a book of referrals just as well, but you've got to make sure you can partner with them in a sense that you can trust that they're gonna take care of your service their clients.
It's like when we do a referral, right? You give them and they never show up or
Yeah.
they charge you.
You're blacklisted, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
No, I'm
You're gonna-
trying to send somebody business. All right, all. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Thanks for all the questions.
All right, so I shared this with my team. When was it, Gurley? Yesterday? Man, it was a day ended in Y is when I shared it. And
Any days.
any day. And I wanted to share with you, I heard this recently and this does pertain to real estate. So just hang with me and it's just a couple minutes long, but listen to this.
Time where I had a summer where I played basketball when I was like 10 or 11 years old, and a very prominent summer league in Philadelphia called the Sunny Hill League, where my father played, my uncle played, and they were like all-time greats and such stuff. And Wilt Chamberlain played in the league, you know, Earl of Pro Monroe played in the league, and here I come playing, and I don't score 1 point the entire summer.
Really?
Not one.
How old were you?
11, 10, 11.
And you're playing against other 10, 11-year-olds? Or and you didn't score once?
Not one.
Were you in the game?
I was in the game.
How'd you not score?
Because I was terrible.
Really?
Yeah.
At 10, 11 years old, you were that
awful.
terrible.
I mean, and I had these big knee pads on because I was growing really fast. I had socks all the way up here, and I had like the high top
Skinny,
fades, like skinny as hell. And I scored not a free throw, not a lucky shot, not a breakaway layup, 0 points. And I remember crying about it and being upset about it. And my father just gave me a hug and said, "Listen, whether you score 0 or score 60, I'm going to love you no matter what."
Wow.
Now that is the most important thing that you can say to a child, because from there I was like, okay, that gives me all the confidence in the world to fail. I have the security there, but to hell with that, I'm scoring 60. Let's go.
Right.
And from there I just went to work, and I stayed with it. And I kept practicing.
Is that when you think the mentality of hard work started to come in for you at that age when you failed so miserably, I guess, that summer?
I think that's when the idea of understanding a long-term view became important, because I wasn't going to catch these kids in a week. I wasn't going to catch them in a year, right? So that's when I sat down and said, okay, this is going to take some thought, right? What do I want to work on first? All right, shooting. All right, let's knock this out. Let's focus on this. Half a year, 6 months, do nothing but shoot. All right, after that, all right, creating your own shot, and then you focus. So I started creating a menu of things. When I came back the next summer, I was a little bit better, right? And
A menu being like, I've got my jump shot from 15, I've got my
I got my jump
fadeaway,
shot from
I've got my-
15, I got my 3-point shot, like just open shots, not miss open shots, right?
Right.
Be able to shoot it with speed, because those kids are so much more athletic.
Yeah.
And then the next summer I came back, I was a little better. And the summer came back,
You
next
scored.
summer I was a little better. I scored.
Yeah,
You know, it
you-
wasn't much,
Right.
but I scored.
And this
you know?
is 12, 13.
12, 13. And then 14 came around, back half of 13, 14 years old. And then I was just killing everyone. And it happened in 2 years. And I wasn't expecting it to happen in 2 years, but it did, because what I had to do was work on the basics and the fundamentals, while they relied on their athleticism and their natural ability. And because I stick to the fundamentals, it just caught up to them. And then my body, you know, my knees stopped hurting. I grew into my frame, and
And then your athleticism, once you have the fundamentals,
exactly.
the hard work, the mindset, and you tack on the athleticism, it's game over.
Then it was game over.
Wow. So from 13, you're good, average still?
I was good. I was good. And then about like the end of my third, like right when I was turning 14, I became the best player in the state.
At 14?
At 14.
So from 12 to 14, you went from scoring 0 to being the best in the
Yep.
state of all ages.
Yep. But it's simple. Like if you do the math on this, right? Like if you're thinking about how often kids are playing, right? And I tell this to my daughter and my daughter's team as well that I coach. It's a simple thing of math. If you want to be a great player, if you play every single day, 3 hours, every single day, over the course of a year, how much better are you getting? Most kids will play maybe, an hour and a half, 2 days a week.
Right.
Do the math on that. It's not going to get it done. It's not going to get it done, right? So if you're obsessively training 2-3 hours every single day over a year, over 2 years,
You're accelerate.
you make quantum leaps, man.
Just doing a summer camp for 2 weeks, you see a difference. I remember playing basketball growing up.
you
It's
see it.
You get a lot better, and you come back
Yes.
more confident playing on the playground with guys who used to
Yeah.
beat you.
Yeah, and I tell the parents on my team, I said it's when I say your kids are going to become great basketball players, and they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, it's not. There's no
It's math.
It's it.
Show up every single day.
Show up every single day, do the work.
Good stuff, right? Pretty incredible. From not scoring a single point to being number 1 in the state. And so what does that have to do with real estate? Let's roll over here and I'll give you a quick little presentation, quick numbers. This is valuable, this is real world. So how does this relate to real estate? Average agent nationally is making about $100 a day. Okay, so what does that equate to? Right, about 40 grand a year, somewhere around there. Do you want to be that, or do you want to be the agent making $1,000 a day, 365, right? 1,000 a year. So the average agent, like how I was talking about the basketball, the average agent, maybe they make 10 calls a week. That's 480 calls a year. Okay. So let's do the math on that, 480 calls. So let's say it takes 100 dials to get a closing. That's 4.8 closings. And let's say the average commission is 10 grand. That's not unrealistic at all, right? So that's $48,000 a year for an average agent nationally doing this type of work. If you just up the level just a little bit to 15 calls a day, compounded over 48 weeks. So this isn't like calling every single day, but that equates to about 5,000 dials a year. And if you use the same math, 5,000 and it takes 100 dials to get a deal, what's that come out to? 50 deals a year, right? Times 10K. That's 500K. That's well over the $1,000 a day goal of being an agent.
That's a 7.5 times upgrade from average to good on those number of calls.
Isn't that powerful? But that's exactly what Kobe did, right? He went from being like not scoring a single point to all of a sudden he practiced every single day. He outworked everybody. He went from the bottom of the pile to the top of the heap. And how long did it take him? It took him 2 years, right? 2 years. Like if we look back, oh man, I wish we started that 2 years ago. 2 years is not a long time. Looking forward, every single day, compounding, 2 years is a long time. Okay. I'll think about all the minutes, all the opportunities, being sick, what happens to your kids, what happens in life. 2 years is a long time. But if you do it, and that's the problem, is that so often, like we started diet, or we started training, or we start something and then we don't follow it through. Are you day 10? Are you still doing it? Day 30? Are you still doing it? Day 90? You get 2 years into it. That's day what 700. That's almost day 800, right? Day 800. Are you still doing it? But it's when he started really seeing the improvements was year 2 went on, right? It wasn't.
Really, if you do it for 90 days, you'll be jazzed by the end of that. If you do it for 90 days, you'll want to, because you will have already seen results. And I mean, I've done that, and you get the results quick. In 30 days, you'll be a different agent, and in 90 days, you'll be closing checks from that.
Absolutely, and then you have new problems, right? You have new problems. How do I keep prospecting? How do I keep writing it down, and still be going on these appointments and going on the inspections and doing all that stuff, right? So I encourage you all, be like Kobe. Be like Kobe. Don't be like the average agent. Good? All right. With that, that's all we have for today, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out. We'll see you next week at P-Card. See you there.